Hello. I want to pass on some information that I've learned. A lot of it I learned the hard way. Pretty much all of it I learned the hard way, actually. But I want to tell you about Lupron in men. Now I'm going to do, matter of fact, I'm kind of in progress on a longer version of this, and I'll go into a lot more detail on that one. But it's just taking me too long to get it together, so I'm doing this short version. Because I just need to get it out. I think it's important that people know some of this. Anyway, some of this may apply to some women. I don't really know. When I looked up Lupron and in men, or Lupron and men, or men using Lupron, I did on like YouTube. I didn't find much. I found a lot about women. It was usually young women who were given the same drug for endometriosis, which is only women can have that, and they did have problems from it. But in men, it seems to be different problems. First of all, I want to be clear: I am not a doctor, and I'm not telling you what you should do. What you do is what you decide to do. I do have a lot of experience in this because I've been living this for 6 years now. It was just about this time. Right now, this is July 13th, 2020. That's today. And it's about this time, a little more than this, about this time 6 years ago when my cancer was diagnosed. And I began my journey, which I'm still alive. So know that. I did some right things that are correct. I did a lot of things. I'm going to go into that in the long version, and then I'll do some follow-up videos too. Okay, now, but this is, when you get diagnosed with prostate cancer, there are downsides to anything. Now, for the standard of care, this is what it was recommended that I do. I had no clue what was going on. They told me I had cancer. I thought, how can I have cancer? Not me, which I guess everybody probably thinks, but I was sure they were going to say, at one time when they were testing, they were going to say, oh no, we made a mistake. You don't really have cancer. You're fine. But they never did. But your choices, and the doctor, of course, is going to go with what information he has. But it's pretty much surgery, radiation, and the hormone therapy, which in my case was Lupron. Now, these are possible downsides. When I had the surgery, these can happen. Lose sexual function and incontinence. You're messing with those, removing parts of your body that have to do with this. Radiation, they always say that it can cause more cancer. I did that. I did this. I did this. Now, for me, there's a list of things I'll show you. But for me, what I experienced was a permanent brain damage. And I'll go into that more. Of course, we know for men, Lupron is given for prostate cancer, and it's to lower the testosterone. This is similar. This is castration. You can castrate a man, remove his testicles, and that will lower his testosterone. When they told me that, I thought, well, I don't think I want to do that. But I actually may have been better off if I had. Now, Lupron works on the brain. It doesn't work on the testicles. It works on the brain. And you can look up how that goes. And since it's up there, it's getting in the brain and doing weird stuff to your brain, it can. Now, it's a rare side effect. Matter of fact, I will tell you, I've been told that everybody who's on this type of hormone therapy does not experience what I did. But I did. When it happens to you, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And but you can look up, you could Google this. You could look up Lupron, apoplexy, pituitary gland. This is considered the master gland in your brain, little bitty thing. And an infarction of the pituitary. An infarction, well, what the heck's an infarction? Well, that's when some organ or tissue or something is not getting enough blood flow and it starts dying. That's the bottom line. I mean, to simplify it, it begins to die. Parts of it will die, which is what I think happened to me. So just to kind of demonstrate that little part, you would think if what you're trying to do with the Lupron is to get the testicles to quit producing testosterone, but that's not where the drug works. The drug works in the brain, and by messing with your hormones in your brain and messing with your pituitary gland, it signals the testicles to not make testosterone. Oh, let me mention this. If you find me losing my place, not being able to find a word, just getting confused or something, as if I had a brain injury, it's because I do have a brain injury. So cut me just a little bit of slack, but it's still important because I didn't know this could happen. If I had known, I'd have never taken that stuff if I really understood it. Now, these are some things that happened to me. Again, I said, I've had a lady who did, let's say she's a health coach, and she says, I have people who are going through this kind of therapy, and they don't have what you have. Well, when it happens to you, it doesn't matter what happened to other people. It happened to me, and it's still happening to me. My ears have been ringing for over 5 years. I feel drugged all the time. Dizziness, I'll kind of lose my balance. I've never fallen and hurt myself. Well, I bumped into things and kind of hurt my arm or something, but never fell down. Difficulty thinking, and this is like all day. Sometimes worse than others. There are worse days. There are a little bit better days, but there's never really good days. Confusion. Somebody will say something to me and I have to say, can you say that again? So I can kind of try to wrap my wits around what it is they're saying to me. Poor memory. Audio hallucinations. There were times I'd think somebody said, Roger, hey, and I'd turn around and look. Nobody said anything. Visual hallucinations, lots of those. Amazing. I mean, just all the time. That's still happens. A lot of light sensitivity, particularly if I'm in a big bright fluorescent lights or big bright LED lights. I had to change all my bulbs at home to incandescents. Because they flicker. They flicker, and if you look up light sensitivity and brain injury, you'll see these things mentioned. You probably won't see this mentioned with Lupron, but if you look up brain injury, you sure will. So I want to make this kind of short. I don't want it to be short. Like I say, I got a bigger version, and I'm going to tell you more of the parts of this, but I just want to get this one out. So not to tell you what to do. I would never tell you what to do. This is just for me. But this is what I've learned. I've studied a lot, done a lot of research over the last 5 years. And the human body can and does heal itself. You can find again and again online and on YouTube that cancer comes up in the body a lot, and the body just fixes it. Human bodies are just amazing. They were well thought out to do all that they do. Now I see a lot of things for superfoods, and I used to think there was such a thing. I do not think there is such a thing anymore. What I'm finding is the things that have benefited me for the most part were not additions to like my food, my nutrition. It wasn't additions. It was getting things out of my diet. When I got things out of my diet, I had improvements. They didn't fix me back completely. I don't expect that to happen anymore. It's been 5 years, almost 6, and I don't expect it to happen anymore. I found that removing the impediments was more important than adding something magical that was gonna fix me. The body is really, really good. If you don't keep it, it's really easy to eat things that will keep parts of the body inflamed. And if you got inflammation going on, like chronic inflammation, I bumped something. If you can keep, if you have inflammation going on, then some amount of your body's health improvement things are being spent on that. Like right now, okay, some of just a little bit red around there. So my body's putting some energy into fixing this right now. If you've got a lot of inflammation, then your body is putting a lot of energy into handling that, and it may not have enough left over to handle any cancer. Okay, so I have been 6 years since the surgery, and I still have all this damage. This is now July 2020. It's been 5 years since I took the Lupron. I still have that damage. From all my research, the most valuable thing that I learned was diet. It can make a huge difference. Actually I did 3. I did an all veggie diet when I started, and but I kept researching, and as I did, and I started putting all the pieces together, I realized I'm eating too many carbohydrates. I'm making sugar, because that's what carbohydrates do, is make sugar. They become sugar. So the first one that was successful was the ketogenic diet. I did the keto diet for about 3.5 years, strictly, like my life depends on it, because it did. I kept my carb intake to 12 grams a day. That's not much. And this worked. I quit taking the Lupron. I only had 4 injections. Again, in the longer video, I'll talk about that. But this worked. I have kept every one of my PSA tests have been below 0.1 ever since then. Now the Lupron did get my PSA below 0.1, but I quit that a long time ago. From then on, it was my diet and other things that I did. Now the other diet that I started, this was about 1.5 years ago. I only eat animal products. I'm still doing this. I have mostly beef. I love beef. I feel great. It tastes wonderful. I have steak sometimes. I eat a lot of ground meat. Ground beef, when I get when I have the correct fat content for me, it's really good. Sometimes I'll have pork, maybe some ribs. Sometimes I'll have chicken. I do eat eggs a good bit. Sometimes cheese. Sometimes I feel like cheese is not going to be good for me today and I don't eat it. I do use butter, occasionally some cream, but not so much. But this diet is a way, way easier to know what you can eat and what you can't. This is not limited. It's hard to overeat beef. You know, I find that I'll start eating. It tastes great. I'm loving it. It's the most delicious thing I ever ate. And then I'll get to a point where, whew, well, I'm done with that. I'm full. I don't want any more. And I quit. But most people will not overeat on this. So if it's just animal products, you just eat them, whatever you want. You do need some fat in there. You would find that. This is a little trickier. You got to know what things have more carbs in it. Some things that have way too many carbs in them. It was traumatic at first. I have to admit, it was not easy to do this for about 6 weeks. But after about 6 weeks, the magic happened. And there are a lot of benefits to getting your body into ketosis. Ketosis being when the body is operating and using fat as a energy source rather than sugar. And it's one would have to experience this. You got to get through. You know, I had been doing this. I had been eating all kinds of just anything for 65 years. And so it was a big change to throw all that stuff out because I was eating terrible. I came to realize I was doing terrible. Okay, so now looking back, now I've already had the surgery. But I wonder, I mean, if they said I had another kind of cancer, which is not likely to happen because I've been in ketosis, such a deep ketosis for so many years now, I don't expect it to happen, but maybe it would. But when I look back, did I really need a surgery? I don't know. But what if I had just changed my diet immediately? If I had gone from eating whatever I want, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, donuts, as many as I wanted, all that stuff, if I had gone strict keto, boom, as soon as I've been diagnosed, I don't know. You know, I'll never know. But if it were if I had known everything that I know now at the point when I was diagnosed with the cancer, I would say, okay, well, I would tell my doctor, okay, well, I have a plan. Or maybe I wouldn't even tell him. I'd say, okay, well, I'm not ready to schedule the surgery yet. I'll get back with you. And then start my diet and check, see if the PSA starts dropping, hey, we're good. I don't know. Okay, but, 2 photos about Lupron. Things that can happen. A little bit scary. I have them in my phone. And now this one is about women. It's addressed to women. But let me just show you. This is from Dr. Mercola. Dr. Mercola has a lot of stuff. He has tons of YouTube videos. He has lots and lots of stuff on his website. He puts a lot of information. So let me see. Let's see if I can get this where we can share that. Okay, so this is Dr. Mercola's comments. Folks, Lupron is a disaster drug that in no way, shape, or form treats the cause of the problem. I've seen it absolutely devastate many women's lives. It is one of the few drugs that I actually cringe when people tell me that they've taken it. It is my experience and belief that this drug causes permanent neurological damage. This drug needs to be avoided at all costs. Now, I agree with this 100%. And I'm going to reread this last little bit again. It is my experience and belief that this drug causes permanent neurological damage, because it sure did with me. This drug needs to be avoided at all costs. So again, I am not telling you what you should do. I'm not telling you what you should not do. I got another picture, not that. This. But these are my thoughts. I'm just sharing my thoughts, that's all. Okay, now this is another video. Matter of fact, in my long video, sorry, I have trouble finding the words sometimes. I'm going to have a lot of references, lots of YouTube videos a person can watch, a lot of things. Okay, so this is from a YouTube video. These are things that can happen with Lupron or hormone therapy. It's the weight gain, anemia, altered lipid levels, okay, depression. Now, but the bottom one, this is what I'm talking about, where slowed thinking, memory changes, confusion. This is a big deal. I had two small businesses when all this began. Small, but you know, I was making a living doing them, and it was all good. I liked doing them, and I was paying the bills and all that good stuff. I had to close them both. I just don't have, my wits are not around me good enough to run a business. I just can't. It took me, I thought about making this video, I'll bet you, I started thinking about it a couple years ago. And it's taken me this long to kind of figure out, I have to go over things and over things and over things and over things to figure out, well, how do I do this? Because I was not a computer guy. Anyway, so that's those two photos about the Lupron used in hormone therapy. Now, the active ingredient in Lupron is leuprolide acetate. Now, the only other, I think there used to be a list of drugs that contained leuprolide acetate. All I could find now is Lupron and Eligard. I had a guy I talked to for a while. He was getting Eligard. I asked him about that. I said, will they give you a shot in the butt for that? And he says, oh no. He says, no. The Eligard they put in the stomach, like I think it's in the belly fat. Anyway, but it's the same stuff. Same stuff. So, knowing what I know now, would I accept Lupron or any other hormone therapy? No. I know I would not. It's just been, you know, I'm making the best of my life as I can, but it's made it really difficult. I had to, it's forced retirement. I can't think. All kinds of things happen. So, this is all I'm going to say in this one. I wish everybody the best of luck. Cancer's not a fun thing. Nothing fun about it. I'm going to say I have found that there are other ways to address cancer. That's what I'm just saying for me. I'm just going to say for me. And in the big video, I'll go into it and give a lot more references and let you dig around. Okay, but for now, I wish you the best of luck. I hope things go well for you. If you've already taken Lupron and you seem to be in a tailspin and experiencing things that I have mentioned that I experienced, you know, this is just more data. This is what happened to me. And I originally was told that I would kind of come back to normal, kind of slowly. It took a while before I realized I'm not coming back. I just am not. This is brain damage. This is not, I'm not waiting for the drugs to get out of my system. It's not that. It's a damaged brain. So anyway, I wish you the best. I'll work hard and get my big video up for later. It's going to be the same name. Most of it's done. Matter of fact, it's going to pretty much say this on the front, Lupron in men, except maybe I'll put a long version on that so you could tell between the two. And thanks for your attention. I hope this is helpful to you, and I absolutely wish you the very best. Take care.